Welcome to Instant Discussions. Today we are discussing 12 Angry Men from 1957.
So we're three angry men.
Sure.
Rada. No, I don't want to discuss this movie!
We're not getting out of here until we agree on a star rating at the end.
Oh, God. Tony,
I have Dodgers
this up, Tony.
to go to.
I have a feeling that we won't fuck this up. Don't you fuck
Well, everyone knows that
this-
black and white movies are awful.
Well, did you watch the colorized version? No, because the colorized version isn't on Netflix. They do, as with all old films, Ted Turner went and colorized everything. Because you gotta
Fucking
do that.
Ted Turner.
Sodomizing everything.
So this film is actually...
Is that how he colors it?
So actually, this is a remake. This is a 1957 film.
Is it really?
Yeah, the year before it was made for television. It was made live. They as they do with television, they broadcast it live on television as a teleplay, and then people liked it, so they put it on to.
It is a play.
They made it into a movie.
Well, that makes sense since it's just in one room the entire time.
Yeah,
Pretty
very
much.
easy to do with that.
Yeah.
But until 2003 or something, the original television broadcast was lost. Like, they lost the whole thing, so you could only see this film. You couldn't see the original one.
And there's a
This is
remake
nice.
since, too.
Yes, and because it's been a good
Starring who's it? What's his name?
thing. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I
Not
think,
important.
It was
it
on
was directed by
Robot
Tim Burton.
Chicken.
It was
Oh, so Johnny Depp and
Johnny
Helena
Depp.
Bonham
Yeah.
Carter. Got it.
Yep, that was good. Okay, so this one, this is my first blind pick with Netflix. Netflix recommends
Still
this to
can't
me.
believe
I know it's odd that I haven't seen it, but there's so many movies in the world. There's a lot of classics that I haven't seen,
Yeah.
and
true.
I'm waiting for
Yeah.
most of them for like you guys to pick them, and then you'll learn that I haven't seen them and be completely blown away that I haven't seen certain movies.
I haven't seen Casablanca, so
What's-
or Godfather.
Interesting.
One or two or three.
Maybe.
Oh, God.
See about that.
No, I don't even want to say it. Just keep going.
Never seen Star Wars. Okay, so it recommended this to me at 4.5 stars, and so I had to bite with that because 4.5 is pretty darn high. Most of them, I'll get a few that are at 4 stars, but most of the things it recommends to me are around 3 stars.
Yeah.
Probably because I rate most things at around 3
I
stars.
still
anyway.
haven't watched the one thing that is like recommends to me at 4.9.
Wow.
There's something that, yeah.
I was looking for something with that, and I think it was a little higher than 4.5 on this one, but it was crazy. So this
Patrick Stewart, Star Trek.
You hadn't seen this movie.
No.
Anyway.
Patrick Stewart Star Trek? Anyway.
4.9 stars, yeah. No, I have seen this film before.
Okay.
Yes.
How long?
A couple
did you see
times,
this
I
movie?
believe.
Okay.
I watched it
What's your first
sometime
experience?
like in college or high school or some shit.
Yeah,
and
this
then
is-
I watched it again at university for a speech class.
At university.
I was reading that in Europe, especially, this is one of the most shown movies in secondary school, and I can imagine this being shown a lot in high school or college. Though in high school, I watched To Kill a Mockingbird, the film for that, and in college in the American Film History class, we didn't get to this one. But there's so many movies to watch. Sometimes we'll swap ones out for another.
Yeah.
But definitely an interesting one to watch for that. I do love the limited storytelling in this.
Yes.
Keeping it all in one room. Anytime you get a film with that, you don't want it too often. Then it gets boring with every film being like that.
And I'm pretty sure it followed Henry Fonda the whole time. Didn't it?
I don't know.
Because when he went to the bathroom, it followed him in there, and then when he
Yeah.
left, it followed him out. So
yeah,
technically, it's limited perspective.
it could be. Though I think you're pretty even cut with all the guys in there.
I concur with you.
No, but I mean like limited, like Chinatown, limited perspective. Right?
Possibly.
Yeah. Like it's always from point of view of J.J. Gittes the whole time. Anyway.
WGDs. Okay, so let's go with favorite parts about this movie. What was your first impressions of the movie as you're first starting
this
out of
is
this?
interesting.
So did you know what did you know about the movie going in?
I knew nothing.
All right.
Although I knew of the Robot Chicken version.
Okay.
So I was assuming that it was similar.
Yeah,
Right when I saw
me
the
too.
name.
I've seen. This is one of those films that it's parodied so many times and referenced in other pop culture so often that going into it you know a good amount about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it Netflix told me it was about a 4.5, and it was pretty close. I was surprised right at the beginning.
We're gonna make it out.
I like that they cut from just like the very beginning to, okay, jury, go figure out if he's guilty or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of like stuck like, okay, what's happening?
I love the boredom in the judge at the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
You can tell he's done this so many times. He's not, they're just bored with it.
And even just the boredom in just the court. Here's inside the court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's the courtroom.
And it shows it too. Like there's the boredom of that, the monotony of that, and then them going into the thing like, this is gonna be easy. This is gonna be so simple. We're gonna get out of here so quick. It's gonna be no problem. All right, we saw the case. Open and shut. Very easy. He's guilty. Going around the table, and then one douchebag screws it up for everyone because he doesn't even. He's like, I saw the case. I'm pretty sure he's guilty too. But let's just wait on this. Let's just talk. Can we just talk?
Can we not just decide this
and he had
just kill someone in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, the good side of it.
Yeah. One thing I also really liked is, and it may be because it made me nostalgic for the Twilight Zone. The way that it cut to everything, the characters, there were characters from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
That guy with the really light voice,
actors
the old man. I remember them from Twilight Zone episodes. That even the music was very similar.
Well, it's the same,
right away, that's one thing that I noticed.
That same era, so you get the same actors in it, and you get that kind of tone of filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Though, very different kind of thing than the Twilight Zone in this one.
And I thought the acting really for back then, it was like amazing. It wasn't corny. Yeah. No, but I've seen a lot of old films and it's just like it's corny and it for this when they were arguing with each other, it really felt like they were arguing. The racist dude, I felt like he was racist.
Yes.
The old man was getting really upset, and I just felt emotion from every single character, which I really wasn't expecting.
The acting was very well done, yeah.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
I mean, no women.
Well, that's a good thing too. I mean, there was no women on the jury, which made things a lot easier.
Yes.
There's no periods. Mm-hmm.
I think this was before women could do anything.
Thank God.
57. That's pre-rights.
The good old times. Am I right?
Also a bunch of white guys on this one.
Mm-hmm. No, but
even the foreigners were white.
Yeah, but even back then, the foreigners.
They were just different kind of whites.
Yeah.
It's like back in the early days when the immigrants that everyone was complaining about were the Irish. Mm-hmm. Italians.
And Italians. The Welsh.
Yeah. Little did they know, man. They're still white. You're good, man.
You know how those people are.
Well, because they didn't consider the other ones human, so
yeah.
The racism goes deep in that.
And you know what? This movie, it was, even though it was really predictable to what was going to happen, it was still like the reveal was still like.
And I think part of the predictability can come with seeing the references. And
all the satire also, I didn't know if I could figure out,
reveal?
The little things it ended up being her eyesight, or it ended up being the time.
The little things that they can find. Because the more they talk about it, the more they find little things that could be in there. And these jurors are better than the defense attorney by far.
Uh-huh.
He's just a horrible lawyer, apparently, because he couldn't, he's court appointed, and they said, he probably didn't care about the case.
First Puerto Rican lawyer, actually.
I don't know.
Fucked it up.
Probably just passed his bar.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they do a lot. I mean, this is all stuff that should have come out in the trial. That they're all talking about in there.
Because they didn't care, though.
I know.
You listened to them talk.
Then he also actually, took the test and passed the bar exam, too.
Yeah. But back in these days, I mean...
She did a little bit, but...
Tests could have been so easy. I mean, come on now.
After hitting his bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
No, I really love the thoughtfulness of this that it hasn't really permeated everywhere in America yet, but it has been going forward more, which is the thought of sentencing people to death and the death penalty. And while it's not completely against the death penalty in this, they definitely bring up the point of, if we're going to sentence a man to death, can we at least take a moment to really think about it and make sure that beyond a reasonable doubt that this guy's innocent?
And they kept on saying, man, he looked like he was 15.
Yeah.
And his eyes were bugging out. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
He's a really good kid.
I like the one point where, he's saying, maybe you don't know what reasonable doubt means. And they're, trying to... They're not trying to be insulting with that, but just saying, you really got to understand this. It's reasonable doubt doesn't mean prove him innocent. It just means that we need to, if you're going to sentence him to death, you need to be 100% sure that this is the guy that did it.
Something that isn't quite adding up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a reasonable possibility that he didn't commit the murder, you have to.
You must acquit.
Yes. If
you must acquit.
If it don't fit, you must acquit.
Chewbacca.
Have you served on a jury before?
No. I got kicked out.
I've been called into jury duty, but like right in the first questioning and like the first round of people.
How many times have you guys got called in?
Me. I've been called in once. Only once.
I've been called in 3 times. One time, the judge. Well, we can talk about that later.
No, I want to talk about it. Like this is part of the.
Well, I wanted to get out of it, and it was on DUI, and I went up and I said, you know what, I can't do this because my whole family are alcoholics. And she's like, oh, you can't give him a fair trial? I was like, no, he looks like one of the mafia figures from Scarface. So the whole court starts laughing, and she's like, do you think this is funny? And I was like, no, look what he's wearing. He looks like it. And she's like, you go back to wherever, and I'm going to pay special attention to you. You don't screw around. And my heart's beating, and I'm freaking out. And I get back, and the guy's like, what are you doing here? And I told him what happened, and he's like, oh, she can't do that. Just go. And I was like, yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was scary.
My easy one is just when they talk to you, they ask you about yourself and say, my father's an attorney, and then usually one of the attorneys will say, no, we don't want that guy. He's gonna know a little too much about the law.
Too. That's a good one.
That's the way. Have you been called in?
I've gotten papers 4 times.
Okay.
I've never actually been even called in to be selected.
Wow.
I got the first time.
The
first time I didn't even have to go.
Yeah.
The second and third time I went in, but never had to go to the next step past that. The 4th time I got this in the mail today.
What?
I'm not even shitting you. I went home and I couldn't believe this.
I just watched that movie.
Let me see. This looks legit. Yours looks.
Did you get all excited because you want to reenact the movie? And you just want to have like this easy case, and everyone going,
I almost want
not
to
guilty.
I just watched 12 Angry Jurors. I don't know if I can be on this jury.
A little too tight.
You know what's funny? All these guys.
I just said the PC way of the title, 12 Angry Jurors.
Yes, you did.
I just did.
How dare you?
I
They're
noticed
all
that,
men in this one.
Yeah.
It's not. Is that
yeah, it fits.
inappropriate?
Literally today. Literally, I got home and I saw that. I was so freaking flabbergasted.
But it was funny that most of them were talking and saying how many times they had been on a jury.
Yeah.
Which made me wonder, like, if how things were back then. Maybe because it was only men. Maybe it was only a type of man. But all these guys had been on it multiple times, except for like a couple of people.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's more crime at the time. Dude.
Well, if it's only white guys.
Yeah.
I mean, at least then it's half, right, with just men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we don't know the white population. White population probably is majority anyway, but
yeah.
So there's only half the pool to select from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we don't really. None of us have experience in a jury room. We don't know what it'd be like there.
Nope.
Now I do.
Yep. But you want to be sequestered in the hotel and get the free hotel like Homer did. Simpsons. That's the way he wants it. That's the way he was drawing it out in that version. But yeah. It's some tense stuff in here, and it's for such a slow kind of story.
It was slow, but I never got bored.
No, and it's all in one room. It pretty much happens in real time.
Yeah.
As they're telling it, and
well, it's real time, then like the time lapse, and then
to really get the good feeling for it, you need to make sure that the room you're watching it in has no AC and it's on a hot summer day, and you don't realize till halfway through that the fan works if you turn the lights on. No one tried that in the beginning.
They were stupid back then. They were morons. They didn't even have iPads or anything. Okay, so I think as far as like favorite parts, I like when he pulls out the knife. I thought that was the coolest thing.
That was a good one.
He's like, "What, bitch? Dragon, like switchblade."
That's illegal.
Yeah, and he's like, "You're not supposed to have that."
Like illegal in so many ways.
Yeah.
That's presenting new evidence in a jury room.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want to know the best part is that at the very end, it's like panning over the table. The knife is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't just leave that.
They point to it later too, and they're like, "Oh, but that's the knife. That's the different knife. Remember? Ah, damn it!"
Yeah.
He catches him.
But then he leaves the different knife. Oh.
Nah, he doesn't get. It was $4. He didn't care about that knife.
No, but
Back then that was $800.
but he presented new evidence.
He's leaving an illegal switchblade. In the
On top of which, he brought a fucking knife in. Oh no.
Yeah, nowadays we got the metal detectors in there. There's no way he could bring that into the courtroom. Yeah, ridiculousness in there.
I didn't like that though. I mean, that changed everything too. Because then the old guy was like, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elderly man. I'm sorry.
There's no old man.
I like how they don't have names except for those two.
Well, yeah, because it's the anonymous jurors. It was weird to me that at the beginning the one guy was reading a newspaper because I thought they weren't supposed to have contact with media.
Well, now I didn't think about back then.
I don't know. Maybe back then, but if there's any coverage, you get biased media interpretation. So it was strange to me that they had the newspaper in there. That's a little type of flaw in there, I guess, that I was questioning at least. But you don't know exactly. So. Anything else to say about this movie?
It's really good.
Yeah, everything about I love going back to the knife when everybody was like, "Oh, I'd do it like this," and then the dude, the ex guy, he's like, "Nah, Holmes, that's how you do it." I said.
Well, it's just thinking about the way that a switchblade works too,
Yeah.
and if they didn't have experience with a switchblade, but because it opens up like this, you're not gonna flip it around. Just do that. Not guilty. Crying down at the end on that one. Some good stuff. So this movie cost, let's see, $340,000 to make. That 1957's money.
I think
And
on
it
this
made $1 million in rentals. So not even counting. I don't know how the box office worked with that. Yes, sir.
I think on this rewatch, I was at first like kind of torn about that I didn't know a little bit more about the last juror, the anger one, the racist one.
Yeah.
That I didn't learn a little bit
Definitely.
more about his situation with this kid.
Yeah.
But I'm still torn about whether or not that's even. I mean, it could have been a bad thing. Like, not knowing those details, I think might have been better as well. So I'm kind of torn about whether I liked that I didn't know more or not.
I think you knew just enough. The way he talked about him and in the picture.
And then him just like staring at it in the corner.
Yeah. And saying these rotten kids.
Yeah.
And they don't care. I'm sure he's just an asshole and his kid's like, "Fuck off, you're a piece of shit, Dad."
Yeah, probably.
And then now he's taking it out on this other poor kid with the big googly
And now
eyes.
that he's getting the "fuck off, you're a piece of shit, Dad," this dad gets even more angry and pissed off at the generation instead of just trying to understand.
Yeah. So this film holds 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Shut up.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
100% solid. And the Rotten Tomatoes usually tries to collect from reviews at the time.
Yeah.
I'll come
so
back
it's-
to the planet now.
Yeah. Callback. It has an 8.9 out of 10 on IMDb. So that one's more where people give actual star ratings, and it's the average of the star ratings on there. So people tend to like it.
That's
good,
pretty high up.
amount.
Is that is that what list on like? Do you know number like wise? Because I know they like do a top 100 and shit.
I don't know on that, but I know on AFI's list, it made a bunch of their lists. It's the number 2 courtroom drama of their rank of films. That's just American Film Institute listing those.
I like this. I like this way better than Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, me too.
This is way better than all these.
Yeah, but Kill a Mockingbird, it grabs people in different ways. And this list isn't any definitive list or any way. It's just the way that AFI likes to list them. Kramer versus Kramer.
I have not seen
that. Dustin Hoffman and that. The Verdict is number 4 on here, which is directed by the same person, Sidney Lumet. So that was kind of interesting that he gets 2 of the top courtroom dramas. So let's go with the star ratings on this one then.
I'm torn
I think
between
we're all in
4 and
agreement
5.
here, so
I'm like torn between 4
make
and
this
5.
quick. Yeah, well,
Everyone give it a
rates you at
4.5. All right.
Well, it rates a 4.5. Well, you can't give it 4.5. See, the 5-star rating
But
for
we
this
all
one
want to.
is difficult because, well, I think I was when I was younger, I would give out the 5-star rating a lot easier on this, and I think it would give it to me easier. But having seen this so late and having seen so many other things like it before, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 5-star rating. So, yeah.
And this doesn't have to do with the leaving. I actually think I was thinking about it. I was trying to think about it before you said your answer.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same. I think I do want to give it a 5.
Yeah.
Because there's so much.
It's definitely that 4.5 range, but if you got to choose between the 2 of those on there, for everything that this sets the precedent for,
And it's such a timeless film too.
yeah, anytime you can watch a film from the 50s
and fucking enjoy it.
enjoy it today,
Yeah.
be compelled to watch it, and
It was compelling.
yeah,
On the third watch from the fifth,
yeah.
still compelling. And I loved it.
It's tough to do that with modern films to watch it.
Fucking Christ, yeah.
Compelled with them.
Modern films, I don't think could ever be timeless, ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fight Club. Boom. You're welcome.
Just
You
'cause
both
he
give him
didn't-
5s?
Just
Yeah.
because he didn't have a name as well.
Yeah, he did. Cornelius.
Planet of the Apes.
I think his name is probably just Tyler Durden. You just named his fucking thing Tyler Durden.
I don't
We'll
know.
talk about that movie.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I just say 4. I can't say 4.5. I can't. Ah, God. That's a hard one.
Okay, what's bad then about the film?
What don't you like about
If
the
you
movie?
can't give it a
What's-
5.
That's the
What's
thing,
taking
like,
you away from
if
the
I
film?
was an alien and came down and this was, like, one of the, like, movies that they showed me, not knowing about anything else, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it that I...
What's this language they're speaking?
What? What does that have to do with anything? No, you're Tony. Why do you think that this doesn't deserve a 5?
You know what? I'm just going to go with 5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the guy with the tickets. You know what? Whatever.
sure.
It
Fine.
doesn't matter why I choose. I just choose a 5, alright? God damn it.
All right.
Holy
I
shit.
guess we can get out of here. I don't know. I'm gonna buy that.
Well, they did it in the movie.
Yeah, it worked for them. It'll
Because
work for
it
us.
was never brought up again.
Yeah.
Which I like, too. Like, that's part of it. Just the
They're
guy going with
He just
whatever
doesn't give a
side you-
shit.
yeah.
They're never gonna get a good opinion out of that guy, and they realize that.
That Joker.
It's just- yeah, some people. Horrible.
The Jews.
I do kind of want to know why you're in shit though.
So next week.
Next week is my pick, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was a little torn between a couple films. Then I realized
There's a lot of good stuff on there.
I wasn't torn just between 2 films, but between watching 2 films and watching 1 film. And then I realized the choice, I didn't want to watch 2 films.
Mm-hmm.
So that explanation aside, I have not seen this movie, and the movie is called
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Mm-hmm.
with
Jason Statham.
who's-
K-A-P-O.
Yeah, and recently deceased as well.
Yes.
Robin Williams?
No,
Jason Statham.
last year.
But this was made while he was alive.
Yeah, it's
Came
true.
out while he was alive.
Really?
Too. Yeah. Unlike his most recent films that are
Oh,
coming
no.
out. He keeps coming out with so many new movies. These posthumous movies. He's
At least you know that What Dreams May Come was filmed after death.
Wet Dreams May Come.
So
Lock, Stock.
I've seen this movie. Have you seen this one?
No.
Okay, and you haven't seen it.
Right.
So I know what you guys are in for. This will be interesting.
I
This will
don't.
be an interesting film. Thank you all for watching. Join us next week. And rate, review, comment, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think of everything. You can't judge both of us.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're cheating. All right. Bye. More rainy day fun next week.